Hello everyone. Good afternoon in Central European time. Good morning in other parts of the world, or good night wherever you're joining us. Thank you to the hundreds of people that have signed up to this test automation deep dive. It's fantastic to be able to connect with you. Honestly, there's nothing like community, and there's nothing better than saying hi to you. So if you're joining us now, don't forget to join the chat, saying hi and where you're saying hi from. There's Steve from London. Thank you so much for being here. We have Dorothy Graham again, and we are very happy to have you here, and the questions and the participation, and we really enjoy having you here as well. And well, you know that EuroSTAR and Automation Star, they are all about networking, they're all about growing in your career, and that's the reason why we bring these talks to you. We want you to be able to be having the latest knowledge available from the people that are making it work, and it comes from different sides. So it's not only about technical. We have very technical talks that have happened around here. Hello, Elliot from London as well. Nice to see you here. We have very that are like more into concepts, conceptually oriented. We have some demos as well. But this time we are going to have a great talk here with Kyle, and he's bringing a different approach. We're still with AI, but critical thinking and how to apply it is going to be great. Just before we jump into the talk, I also want to share with you a couple of things. And as I was saying, there's nothing like meeting in person. Meeting online is fantastic. Saying hi here. People have met with other people from where they live just in this chat. So that's why I say is mainly say hi, not only to say hi to you, but so that you can connect with other people that maybe they're working very close to you and you didn't even know. But also, let's meet an Automation Star. It's in Amsterdam. It's the 10th and 11th of November, a faster conference. It happens very fast. It's full of great insights. And just for attending these virtual events that we have a special bonus for you. You can save a bonus 10%. You just use the code webinar10 and you will get 10% off. So if you want to use it, or if you know a colleague that will do either with growing more in their career or growing their networking, this is the place to meet. But now it's time to go with Kyle. Kyle is already here. How are you doing, Kyle?
Good. Looking forward to seeing what happens. This will be quite an experiment. So hopefully everyone can bear with me and play along.
Perfect. Well, we'll go with something different this time. And we're very happy to have you here. So I won't take any more time. And the virtual floor is yours.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for being here. And those who are going to watch later, maybe the recording. But it's really great to be here today to talk a little bit about this. I did write in the chat, there's a little heads up. I will not say I'm an AI expert, automation expert, or even a testing expert, even though I'm surrounded by a lot of these incredible people. But what I do feel I know quite a bit about is critical thinking. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on today, but in the realm of course, AI and LLMs and how we currently find ourselves. So let's have a quick look. So if I click the next button, let's see if it's going to go. Oh, yes. So, of course, thanks for joining. So my name's Kyle, and I'm the CEO and owner of Brightest. We're a global exam provider here located in Berlin, Germany. I'm originally from Canada. Fun facts about me, just to have a little bit of an idea of where we're going and who I am. So I absolutely love Halloween, or at least I have as I've been growing up. One of my first jobs was scaring people when I was 16, where I used to build mazes in front of my house and got a bunch of Girl Guides who would come and got invited then afterwards to help open up a Halloween maze/farm adventure in my hometown of Winnipeg, Canada, which I did for several years during the last season. I got a bachelor in mathematics and German literature, and then a master's in teaching German as a foreign language and instilling critical thinking skills in students. So this will give you a little hint of where we're maybe going in a bit. And yes, mentioned CEO and owner of the certification body, Brightest. And I'm also co-creator of the United Certification Portfolio, so more hands-on certifications that are offered. And also I'm in the authoring committee of ISTQB CTAI syllabus, and one of my main goals right now is promoting GenAI and prompt engineering in the workplace. So if we go to the next, I'd like to introduce everyone to a little friend who's going to be our mascot for the next 30, maybe 40 minutes. And basically, I don't know if everyone knows what this is, but it's an axolotl. And basically, we've called him axolotl because we've got to ask a lot. That's part of the critical thinking. And axolotl, they're found in the Xochimilco area around Mexico City in Mexico. And what's cool about them is that they can actually regenerate big parts of their bodies. So let's be friendly for this powerful little guy. And I'm going to start with an imagine exercise. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me on this one. I might have to read the text in this one because I prepared it, and I don't want to stray too much from what I planned. But if everyone can bear with me and close your eyes for the moment and try and picture the place where you grew up. What memories come to mind? Think you're around age 8, 9, 10. Who were the people around you? What activities brought you the most joy? If you were lucky enough to have siblings, how did you interact with them? Did you always get along? Or sometimes clash? Now we're going to add a little twist to this. Imagine now you had been born on the other side of the world, or a completely different time period, say 200 years ago, or 200 years in the future. How different might your experiences, beliefs, and ways of learning have been? Think about this for the next 10 seconds or so. And maybe remember this for later. We'll come back to it. So trying to imagine the unknown on the other side of the world. Maybe you know it now, but you might not have when you were a child. How do humans learn? So, of course, there's a lot of different ways that humans learn. We think about when we're a child. The why, but how? Who? Why is this happening? Are we there yet? It's amazing how children are so inquisitive. As children, we understand everything, or we want to understand everything, and we want to know what's going on and why. What happened? Why is it not like that anymore? Well, let's think of how we learn. So we got some ideas here. So we learn through experience, trial, error, reflection from other people, teaching, mentoring, collaboration, through observation, watching, listening, modeling behavior, through structured learning, schools, books, and courses, and by making connections, linking new information to what we already know, and through curiosity and making mistakes, asking questions and exploring. So, what happens? Life happens. We realize that there's too much in the world that we can't know everything. And sometimes it's easy then to just kind of shut down and accept what's going around. But we have to remember that we are making decisions in everything that we do. And there's a lot that we have to consider. Ooh. Now we're going back to another imagination exercise. Now here's a little bit of a warning. This is not so pleasant, but I do hope you will bear with me on this. I'll give a trigger warning if it does go back into 1910 Germany. So if you don't want to join in or you want to keep your eyes open, that's fine. But if you're willing to just kind of close your eyes and listen and join in, that would be great. And because I'd love to hear what you thought about it in the end. But now we're going to take a twist on imagining yourself in another location. So if everyone could close your eyes again. Let's see how many people are trusting. At least you're safe in your own home. All right, so everyone's got your eyes closed. This time, let's set the year to 1910. There's no internet, no computers, no TV. The only way to learn about the world is through printed newspaper and what people around you say. You are born in a particular European country, one associated with lederhosen, pretzels, and large mugs of beer. This time of year, for sure. After 1918, life improves a little, but there are family members they'll never meet as a result of a devastating war. As you grow into your teenage years, things look brighter. Then the propaganda drums begin faintly in the background. Ba-doom, ba-doom. In the winter of 1929, you lose your job. Unemployment rises. Industries collapse. You wonder why, but you've done nothing wrong. Friends lose their jobs too. The drums of propaganda start quietly, then grow louder. Ba-doom, ba-doom. Businesses close. Loans fail. And the drums beat stronger. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. You begin trading family heirlooms for food to keep your children healthy. The drums grow louder still, now pointing the blame at certain minorities. Posters that once looked like jokes start showing violent messages, asking for action. Friends and neighbors begin repeating the messages, sometimes as jokes, sometimes with anger. The drums get louder. Ba-doom, ba-doom. Now ask yourself, what would I do? How do I feel now in this situation? Think about that for 10 seconds. Now open your eyes. It's not a pleasant thought, but this is an essential exercise, at least it has been for me in the past, to be in a different time, under different pressures. What choices would I have made? And be honest with yourself. Of course, I know I had one of the biggest fights in my life with my my father about thinking I was very, maybe let's call it naive, or that of course I would do everything to protect people. But what do you do when you're forced with no other decisions? It's definitely not pleasant. But the truth is that these things are still happening. It's not a unique story. Similar patterns still play around the world today. And I'm speaking to you about this today as someone who's actually worked through this. In German, there's a funny word that's very long. German's very good at that. Vergangenheitsbewältigung. Yes, Germans created a word about how to deal with your past. And it's not necessarily your past, but the past of your ancestors. I know I don't look that amazing that I was born in 1910, but I've heard a lot of stories from my family members who were. I promise we're not going to dwell on this that much more, but I hope it was a bit to realize, and I didn't want to go in too deep. If you want to discuss it more, we can obviously do that in a different time, somewhere in one of the conferences when we meet up. But why do we do this exercise? It shows us something uncomfortable. Humans don't learn or act in a vacuum. We learn through our environment, through the people around us, and through the narratives that are repeated, sometimes so often that they feel like truth. It's easy for us sitting here today to say, I would have done differently. But history shows us that most people, step by step, followed the rhythm of the drums. Not because they were evil, because they might not have stopped to question, or they felt they didn't have the power to do anything against it. Now, the goal here is not for us to go start rebelling on all causes, but to try and think more and consider it when we're making decisions and passing on information if we've actually discussed or thought about what's going on. Critical thinking is what helps us recognize the information is biased. And this can be all information. It might be biased in a good way. It might be biased in a bad way. Whether it's good or bad is completely irrelevant. In the end, I mean, it's going to be, or have to find whatever the truth is. And when easy answers are being fed to us, and when the volume of the drum is rising, it's easy to just accept and move on. We've all been there. We've all just, all right, let's continue. Not going to fight it. It's not worth it. And we're not going to fight all the battles. But where does it count? And you have to be able to make a judgment call on that. It's what allows us to step back and ask, is this really true? What's the evidence? What are the alternatives? This is why in times of rapid change, whether in history or in the age of AI, critical thinking becomes not just a skill, but a survival tool. Here's a couple questions to reflect on. And I apologize, we will get a little bit more positive. When did I last accept something as true without questioning it? It doesn't have to be something big. Have I ever shaped a fact without checking it? Why do simple explanations feel so convincing in uncertain times? What tools help me question the drums I hear today in my everyday life? So now let's think about what is critical thinking. So it could be defined as the ability to objectively analyze and evaluate information, ideas, or situations in order to form a well-reasoned judgment. That would be the definition we'll go with today. Happy to discuss and find another one. But it usually involves questioning assumptions, identifying bias and hidden agendas, seeking evidence before drawing conclusions, considering multiple perspectives, reflecting on the implications of decisions, many things that a lot of us do in our everyday lives, regardless what you're doing. But you can think of already with the questioning of assumptions and the checking, is it true? Is it working? This is also very relevant for testing. We need to ask the questions, ask a lot of them, be critical, use the knowledge that we have to make sure things are correct. And let's not get into the philosophy of what is correct, what's incorrect, but what is correct for us in our decisions that we're making. What can AI do? Well, basically, you can do just about anything. It's quite impressive, actually. I'm sure everyone's played around with LLMs and seen what's possible. AI can check feature works. Now we're focusing more on the testing area. What can it do? But it cannot yet sit in the user's shoes and ask, does this feel right? Is this accessible? Will our users trust it? AI can pass exams, write poems, and even give relationship advice, maybe with horrific precision. However, it can still not turn to a colleague and say, are you okay? And really mean it. It might ask, but can it follow up with other questions based on the facial expressions? Maybe in the future. Scary times are ahead. But at the moment, AI can write tests, fix bugs, push code. However, when communicating with your colleague who developed it, will it be able to read the room and take the tone? I know it's frustrating, but here we can fix it together. So here's an interesting thought. People are funny. When we realize it's for the general public that automatic cars can shift for themselves, why do we still now, in many cases, put ourselves in the middle of an existing system and decide that we can shift better than the car itself. If we go for an automatic car, surely there's better usability, accessibility. It leads to less chance of error and more time to focus on the task at hand, getting safely from A to B. Why have extra distraction? Why interject yourself into that extra activity? And then I have another interesting one when I think about technology. If we go back, made me think about this with my grandma's toaster growing up. My grandma had this toaster. It probably weighed 10 times what an average toaster you would get today weighed. It was very solid. I'm sure we could throw it off a building and they would still plug it in and it would burn your house down. Emphasis on burn your house down. You would plug the thing in, put the toast in, put it down, and it would just stay there until you hit the button to pop it up again. You can walk away and literally the thing would catch fire. And because it was so amazing and so powerful, the whole outside was metal and you could burn yourself if you touched the wrong part or melt off a button if you left it on too long. I mean, absolute incredibleness. I wonder why they're not built like that today. We're observing, we're learning, we're getting things better. We don't need to keep making the mistakes we were making in the past. We can learn from what we've been doing and hopefully improve. Now we can think of the rise of AI and LLMs. So the rapid advancements, of course, in AI and LLMs. So not to get into the nitty-gritty of all the different LLMs that are out there. There are probably thousands, if not way more at this point in time. But let's focus on ChatGPT, GPT-4, and other applications in software education, healthcare, etc. For transformation of routine tasks, chatbots and virtual assistants are getting more and more involved in our everyday life. We're dealing with them on every website. We're asking questions. We're getting responses. It's beneficial in many ways. It can also be limiting in certain other ways. You don't get that personal touch as much anymore. Also, we think about the idea of smashing together information versus like clubbing versus the understanding and or intelligence. So required analysis and frequent checks. For me, the summary here is that automation isn't the same as understanding. This is where humans come in. And this, we can't let AI run free. Of course, we can give it a bunch of programs and stuff to complete. It can make sure the tests have passed, but will it actually work for the real people out there? Machines can run tasks, and we should let them run tasks. But we as humans need to add the meaning. We need to take more of the role of the monitor in the future, I think. We can make a lot possible by allowing them to do it, or them, I'm saying, AI, them, because I'm looking at an axolotl on the screen. But we can use a lot of that the aspect to gain a lot more and test and probably even have better quality. But we have to be able to maintain and follow through with the monitoring to make sure it's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing, that it's checking what it's supposed to check, that our product is actually working the way we want to be using, and that people can access it if they need to, or in the way they need to actually use it. So we have the unique value of human skills. So what makes humans great? Do we like the fact that humans can just give us a bunch of information, put it together? We can can we change the temperature and all of a sudden start imagining random things and then it still be accepted as truth? Maybe. I'm sure we see a lot of that in the news. But what actually makes humans great is we can think about it when we make judgment calls. Now, there's good and bad, of course, to all that. We're always going to base and judge things based on what we've experienced in our lives. But we can process data differently and identify patterns faster than, or they can do it faster than any human, but we can do it in a different way, understand the context, empathy, and complex reasoning. We also bring creativity and innovation. So where AI can also turn up the temperature and go wild, generate new ideas versus true creativity. What is true creativity anymore? We all have the experiences from music, and is music that comes from AI less innovative? However, something to think about. Also, what I find important is empathy and emotional intelligence. So AI is still not magic. It is science. It's got calculated responses versus the ability to understand, connect, and genuinely empathize with others. So here's some things why I think why humans are still irreplaceable. We maintain an ethical oversight, and the importance of human oversight to ensure an ethical AI usage. And this is part of the monitoring role, which I believe we're going to have to take in the future. And this is why we have to maintain the human in the loop. You've probably heard this buzzword throwing around all over the place, but it's actually quite simple. You keep the human in the loop. AI cannot be set to run free. I don't know if it's going to turn into Terminator, like some people might have suspected, or even before it really became mainstream as it is now, when the first movies came out. But we do need to find a way to maintain the full monitorization and checking that it's doing what we actually intend it to do, because it still should be supporting our everyday life and not creating our everyday life. So humans provide the context, judgment, and critical oversight to AI systems. In my opinion, that should be where we are. Hopefully, it maintains that way, but we'll see what happens if true AI ever becomes a thing. But some examples that I'd like to go through. So if we think of in software testing, exploratory testing, human intuition covers what automation misses. UX validation. People are generally better at evaluating emotions, trust, and accessibility. Ethical and bias testing. Humans spot fairness issues AI might miss. Now, that doesn't mean AI can't do it first, and then you can go back and check. But a human should be checking, is it actually being ethical? Risk-based prioritization in edge cases. So humans know business impacts and have experience with rare scenarios and edge cases. Over time, AI might build this up too, but it's still only viewing the world from what it can get, the input it can have. And it hasn't actually been out there and experienced it and experienced all the different variables in one particular aspect. I think at least at this point, humans can still do that better. In quality assurance, so we think of root cause analysis. Human reasoning connects dots across teams. The contextual understanding. So software quality depends on real environments and the users. And strategy and improvement. So people align testing with goals and evolve processes. And the last one, just as an example for if we're thinking project management, so stakeholder communication. Managing expectations with empathy. I don't believe that's something that AI we should trust with yet, but love to hear your comments. Conflict and change management. Now, we know this is a challenging in any situation. When conflicts arrive, it's not easy to deal with them. Change, most people are not the best with change. I know I'm also not amazing with constant change. There's so many unknowns. We love the unknowns. But humans navigate tension and guide the adoption process. So you can actually then look into someone's eyes. If the conflict arises, you can discuss things, you can calm it down, you can take a break, you can come back. But there's a lot more intention to that maybe we don't have with AI. Go fix the conflict. That'll be fun. Let's see how that goes. Don't recommend it. You can get some AI, though. I have in the past looked and tried to get some feedback. This situation's happened. Give me some ideas how I could best go about it. That's where I think AI is a great support. Doesn't mean you're going to instantly do everything it says. That's where the critical thinking comes in. It's not about it being truth. It's about still being able to decide. And that's why I'm so in my case, and I feel quite lucky to have grown up in a different way, and I have to first go through all the school without having a cell phone, without all having the LLMs, and really figure it out. I remember going to have to figure out with an encyclopedia, an actual textbook, not Wikipedia. And then if I have a question, go there. Or having long discussions where now you can just type it into your phone if someone ever doesn't know something. That is amazing. But I like the fact that I can see both sides and go there. If we also think of risk balancing, so decide between speed, cost, and quality, you can get great tips, but you still have to make the decision yourself based on the project. Leadership and motivation. Inspiring teams is, my impression is like the uniquely human strength. If AI is going to lead us, maybe Terminator wasn't so off after all. But let's not hope for that. For me, a key point here is that AI accelerates tasks, but humans provide the meaning. True value comes when developers, testers, AI specialists, and business leaders collaborate across disciplines, ensuring many different perspectives, and experiences are taken into account. Eventually, of course, AI will receive enough input from all these different roles, but it's still never lived in one of those roles. So where it can still give a value assessment of the situation, it maybe cannot give us all the answers that we need. So important, click twice. So ethical use and trust. How can you talk about AI and not think about ethical use? So bias and fairness checks. An example, an AI model for resume screening might favor specific keywords that unintentionally disadvantage candidates from non-traditional backgrounds. So, or in testing, testers can design test data sets that deliberately include edge cases, such different as genders, names, demographics, to check that there is no unintended bias. For transparency in AI outputs, in testing, QA teams can verify that AI systems logs decisions criteria in a way humans can review. This may include traceable output logs, explainable reports, or clear disclaimers to the end users. Human accountability for final decisions. Again, we should be taking those decisions. So the more we put AI into our system, the more we need to monitor it. We're still responsible for the decisions of AI. I'm still kind of iffy. I know that there's cars out there that are driving themselves. That's great. What happens when that car has to decide whether it's going to hit a tree, hit a person, hit a group of children playing, because it's going too fast and it can't get out of the way of all three? The car might be completely empty. Or imagine you're sitting in the car. Imagine you're in the back seat, can't reach the wheel. There's no way to override the system. Scary situations. Of course, I hope that things are they're getting tested, but these are things that are happening. We're still responsible for the decisions. If no one's in the car and it hits something, I'm guessing the company who created it is going to be responsible for whatever problems it may incur. If you're sitting in it, are you responsible? Even though you didn't program it and maybe you had no connection to touching the wheel? Either way, you're going to witness it if you're sitting in it. So that's already very scary. So now let's think about skill development in the age of AI. So I think it's very important to consider what skills are required for dealing with AI. And we need to have data literacy. We need to understand what the data is doing, what it's saying. We need to know prompt engineering, how to work with it, and the AI management. So what's going into it? What's allowed? What's not allowed? I think it's important that we consider the continuous learning to remain relevant in rapidly changing landscapes, because there's so much at the moment where we may not feel we're in control of. But I think there's a lot that we need to consider it, because if we're not using it, those who are using it will have an advantage over us. That doesn't mean throw everything and all your trust into AI and ignore the red flags. But let's see what we can do. And what does the road ahead have in store? What does balanced collaboration look like in 2 to 5 years? Right now, I'm feeling pretty secure in today. But what does tomorrow bring? The new roles emerging in the AI interface, and how does it shape how AI is used? We don't need to adapt ourselves to it. We should be able to add AI where it makes sense and benefit from the benefits. Now, remain human and know how you learn. Everyone is different, and that's a good thing. We're not robots. We should consider the following situation. How do you learn best? Do you learn best from experiences or from the experience of others? And that can be through reading, watching, observing. Do you allow yourself to truly experience failure? How does your curiosity impact your learning? Have you ever imagined what it's like to be on the other side of a given situation? Well, if you played along earlier, you might have done a little bit of these already just today. But sometimes it's good to think about the perspectives and imagine what can be happening on the other side. Frustrating situation. You can be very frustrated. What are we actually frustrated about? What's the other side thinking? It's amazing out there that children, and I see it all the time, are so inquisitive. As children, we want to understand everything, coming back to this. But what happened? It seems life happens. Maybe we assume that we know enough. We've reached our limit. We just need to figure out what's relevant and how to keep moving. And I think it's important to keep asking questions. Ask a lot of questions. We need to remain critical. We need to remain adaptable. And this is where we can embrace AI as a tool, not a threat. Not blindly embrace it. It does offer many potential threats that have to be considered. But we need to be open to the fact that it could be helping us in the future. I definitely feel good if it can generate with a lot of data. If I'm going for a medical test and they can check a growth and determine whether it's potentially threatening or not. I think that's wonderful. Do I want it to then automatically rip it out of me? No, I do not. That's where the humans come in. There still should be a human that makes the final decision and to discuss it with the patient. So we need to grab the reins of creativity. Utilize AI for idea generation and augment with your brain. So like the example I said, where you can use it to come up with ideas about how to approach a particular problem. But it's still you that has to make that decision. You have to live by your decision. It's important to know that the decisions we're making, that's not all, then stop making decisions because it's scary. Decision making is wonderful. We just need to know that it's still us that is doing it. And we shouldn't let AI make those decisions away from us. Be human and continue to question and evaluate. Use those QA skills, including rational judgment. I know it's all out there because dealing with testers is a wonderful and scary thing. I've had so many incredible experiences finding the most wild bugs together with a lot of friends out there. And it's good. We need to keep that. That critical mind, that critical thinking, looking for errors is so beneficial. But hopefully we can enjoy the experience without only looking for errors. AI isn't here to replace us. I really hope we all believe that, but rather amplify our potential. At least as long as we monitor it. I think if AI can replace us, we're definitely doing something wrong. Final thoughts. Hope I'm not too far ahead of schedule, but stay curious. Keep asking better questions and use AI to amplify what makes you uniquely human. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this is very unconventional, and also doing a talk like this online where I can't see everyone to react like a human. Um, I apologize if I was a bit awkward, but thank you, and hope you were able to close your eyes and enjoy the thought process. And sorry for bringing up the particular topic that I chose. I do believe that sometimes you have to choose a dark topic, and I hope that we're distanced enough now that we can use it to grow our minds so that we don't let it repeat in the future. Stay curious.
Thanks a lot, Kyle, for your talk there. Thank you so much. We're very happy to have you here. And yes, we were sharing. It's not only about being technical, but how do we make teams to work better, to be, and especially to think critically as you bring it to this talk. I think there's a topic that is very interesting you were talking about there, and about, yeah, AI can give us the results, but without humans giving meaning to these results, like, what's the point? And we are still very well needed. So if anybody has any questions you want to add, there's the Q&A section on the right, and we already have one, and that's from Dot. Thank you so much, Dot. And she says, this is a great message and very well communicated. Thanks. How can we get this across to business leaders and politicians who seem bent on adopting AI wholesale?
That is a question I would love to get into, believe me, but I think it's probably best you are outside of this particular topic. I didn't want to say anything political in this particular one, but it's great that that is exactly what I wanted to happen, of this consideration of our everyday lives now. What is affecting it? It is there. It's scary. We see things in countries around the world, not to point fingers at any particular one, but sometimes it's easier when you're looking in, and that's why I tried to get that other side of the world. It's easier to look and point that finger when it's not directly in your front yard, when you don't live in the situation that's there, that's determining what politician's going to be running. And it is a shame that we can't have more trust in a lot of the politicians out there, that they're not actually following what the community wants, but to not get too political, more what their sponsors want. But this is how I'm hoping, if we can instill critical thinking skills, we can actually have more people supporting at least an educated way of thinking through things, and open up more discussions, and not discussions where you have to convince the other side, but just explain your point of view and have that open discussion to see what's possible, and what other ways, because maybe there's two people who have one way of thinking about something, but actually the third way is a better answer, and we need to find a middle ground that's actually implementable. So yeah, sorry for a non-answer answer, I think, but that is actually what I wanted to get thought about during this process.
No, yeah, it's a very deep topic thinking over there. And thank you so much, Dot, there, for your question. Thank you, Steve, for the comment there. Great talk. Thanks, Kyle. And yeah, you mentioned something about that AI shouldn't take over everybody's jobs, because if that happens, we're doing something wrong. This part of the critical thinking. So I just want to thank you for being here, for bringing that Mexican axolotl, like they would say over there, or ascalotl, like we call it now here. Thank you so much for that. And thank you to everyone that came to the talk as well. We hope to see you very, very soon.
Thank you so much for having me, and wishing everyone a great experience, and definitely go join the conference that's coming up in November.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And we hope to meet with everyone very, very soon. Please enjoy your break, and I'll meet everybody by 12 for our next talk. That's with Ana Duarte. Test documentation, why so technical?